Welcome, everybody, to the Bengals Weekly Show on the Grueling Truth Sports Network. As always, the Grueling Truth is powered by betting.net. Betting.net is your best bet for finding the online casino or sportsbook that's right for you. Damn, I'm as bad as the Bengals were in week one, guys. And I am your host, Mike Goodpaster. Right now, I want to welcome in our co-host, as always, Ty Robbins. How you doing, Ty?
I'm all right. And you guys?
I've been better.
It was a rough Sunday to say the least. I knew it started off slow. These guys didn't have any preseason games, so they really didn't have time to really gel. So I knew it would be slow. I didn't know it was 4 interceptions slow, right? So it took a while to get it together and find the scheme. So I think it was a combination of Joe having a bad game, bad coaching, decision making in the booth, and losing our long snapper. All had a combination of having a very bad Sunday. And you could tell it was a bad Sunday because almost reminded me of the Packers game, in the stands when everybody was leaving. Usually there's Steeler fans with their towels, and I think they were in shock that they won and we were in shock that we didn't win. So that's how that came about.
Yeah, but the big difference is the Packers were a good team last year. All right. Also, 1988, number 58, Super Bowl or AFC champions, Joe Kelly. How you doing, Joe?
Yes, it's been better days. Disappointed in the total package of what they did on the field. Our defense kicked ass. I know in 11 years, we game planned to hold the other team under 275 yards. They had 170 total yards. So you look at the defense, they gave it one, I think they played great. You look at Joe. I think we're to not even play one rep in preseason and then expect that exactly where we left off in the Super Bowl, and it showed. It just showed our offensive line, newly added an offensive line, full series in preseason, and it showed. Pittsburgh had have one of the best defensive ends in football, T.J. Watt, and one of the best. Those guys, professional, their experience. And they were better prepared football shape than we were. I'm not totally distraught all because I seen the fight. I seen despite how I would say the entire offense. Joe Burrows, he made some bad throws, but the kid battled back and put us in a position to win. And it came down to one of the most simplest plays in football. Extra blocks down. You learned that in the 4th grade. If you're kicking an extra point, you block. And if that outside guy blocks the kick, that means he got off to a hell of a start, and blocked the extra point. But they allowed Mika Fitzpatrick to split the seam. And, we wind up walking away with a loss. But to Bengal Nation, I said, a lot of good things.
Well, my question is this, and my concern with this team has always been the coaching, and they lost this game because of the coaching. I mean, Drew Sample was a 2nd or 3rd round pick that was brought in basically because he was a good blocker. He's the guy that screwed that up. They said, well, he's not used to being on that side. Why is he not used to being on that side? If you're a good football coach, when you're practicing special teams, I mean, with my teams, I'll do a thing where I'll say, that dude's down. Somebody else going to run in and do that job. And when you hear Wilcox talk after the game that he hadn't snapped for an extra point or a field goal in like 3 weeks, I mean, to me, this is being unprepared. It is absolute disgrace, I think. And I could sit there and, I mean, Chris Evans is on the bench for no damn good reason. I don't understand what the hell is going on here. And I know everybody's going to say it's one game, and that's fine. But the mistakes that were made here were coaching errors. We got out-coached by Mike Tomlin. I mean, we could sit there and say we held him to 170 yards, but you know what? We held him to 170 yards because we kept turning the ball over to him. When you got a short field, you don't need a lot of yards. The defense played great. Logan Wilson is an absolute stud. But Ty, I mean, not challenging what was an obvious touchdown, not having a long snapper that had even snapped the ball in 3 weeks, having Drew Sample play the opposite side, he doesn't know who to block. I mean, to me, Joe, you played a little football before. If you're on the right or the left, you kind of got the same thing, right? I mean, you're only just going the opposite direction.
It's no mistake. You know, they're trying to take the pressure off of Drew Sample. You go through before every practice. There's special teams practice. You even have the punter practice kicking off, the kicker practice punt. You had starting quarterback holding the extra point. You had the backup quarterback. You had the wide receiver. One of the wide receivers holding the extra point. So you know when you're talking about special teams, all changeable. So there's no excuse. Like you said, it goes to coaching. So we weren't prepared. Even when on the shank on the goal here, we went on third down. So you go on third down, just didn't call and fumble the snap. So it was a horrible snap. I get it, but it's a horrible snap. It moved him a little bit. It literally almost raised him up. So right there, you got it. Boom. We got fourth down. We kick it again. But it goes back to preparation for every situation. You go out and you have special teams practice 4 hours single day. You have a special teams meetings, and you just don't. It's just not the special team guys come. I pretty much didn't play most of my career, but I was at special teams practice every single year. I was the backup in, on the field goal rush. I played inside, outside, you name it. Everybody's interchangeable on special teams, and
yeah, and the worst thing I saw out of all this, Ty, was punting the ball with 15 or 16 seconds still left on the damn play clock, where if you remove those 15 seconds, Pittsburgh's not even in position to kick a field goal.
Right, or just take the penalty. You know what I mean? Take the penalty and kick. Yeah, I didn't understand that either. The touchdown, when they played it in the stadium, we didn't get a good view. So I got a view. I guess must have been the same view as Taylor, because we couldn't tell. I mean, it wasn't precise like it was, I guess, on TV. Or we didn't get that. And they ran the play so quick after that to try and get up there that I guess we never got to see that other view. So hopefully they chalk this up as learning experiences, and we correct those, whether it's, how much time from punting to challenging.
But Ty, my question is this. I mean, we're in the NFL. Why do you need experience to let the clock run down to punt the ball?
Well, my understanding is from what he said in his interview that, it was kind of chaotic. They didn't. Well, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I don't buy that shit. That just means he's in over his head.
The man
I know, but he's full of shit. So
it was almost like a preseason game that they were trying to get everybody, have everybody play and see what they're going to do, and
still trying to figure it out. They forgot that we're live. We're shooting real bullets now. We're not shooting blanks anymore. It's time to go to work. Had an overmatched team prepared. I think that we are better than Pittsburgh any day of the week, any night. But Mike Tomlin, hats off to Mike Tomlin for prepared, having his guys. Minka Fitzpatrick, he remembers these guys talking about the Steelers quit. They remember we gave them bulletin, and I don't care any opponent. If you gave me some bulletin material and you said something I don't care if it was next year. I don't care if I paid you 2 years. I remember what you said. I remember what they were more prepared than we were, and that as it starts and ends with coaching. Bad decision making. Could be another cost cutting issue for Cincinnati because every team in the league has a guy up there that is looking at the replay. That specifically is there to find and look at every replay, and the fact that we cheated ourselves by not having somebody get a good in the stadium, but if you look at on TV when I was like, it was clearly a touchdown. You should have one saying, hey, Zach, challenge that. It's a touchdown. In the day, what we didn't use anyway. We left them out to the board. So you're a better team. You know that we got better. We went to the point we gave. So now we gotta put it together. That comes.
Yeah, and now they go to Dallas to play the Cowboys. The game opened up. The Bengals were 2.5 point underdogs, but now with Cooper Rush at quarterback, it goes from anywhere to -7 to -7.5. And I think it's safe to say here, Ty, I mean, I know it's rough to say something's must win this early in the season, but you cannot, with the schedule they've got, start off by losing to the Steelers and Cooper Rush.
Yeah, this is one they should win. You know what I mean? If you're really going to be a contender this year and you're going to make the playoffs and you want to win a division, then this is a game you should win, hands down. You're playing their backup quarterback. Their line's injured. They got a lot of injuries in the line, and they've got to step up their game. And I think Joe will recover from last week. I think after playing a little bit with his line and start to gel, you'll see him get better every week. But, with that surgery, he didn't get a lot of practice, and so this was his practice. So I see them dominating the Cowboys, I think, this year or this week.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what, the top matchup to watch in this game has to be the cornerback from the Cowboys, Diggs, against Jamar Chase, Joe.
And I think Jamar Chase, because if you look at what Jamar Chase did last week, his numbers were great. I think his numbers are going to be, even greater. They have another. He has a game under his belt. And in my opinion, Diggs has made some great plays last year. I don't think Diggs is a natural coverage. I don't see his coverage skills as good as a lot of other cornerbacks. He's a ball hawk. He made some plays, but one of them he can't hang with Jamar Chase. I think Jamar Chase will win that. I don't know if we're going to have T. Higgins, but even that, when you look at it, there's no way on earth. Even if I was playing today, I would tell the coach, the preseason game. I have to get acclimated because you're not hitting. In football, you don't get over the soreness for a week or two. The first day you're sore, second day you get the lactic acid out of you. Then that whole week now you're starting to get up the sore. So we got our guys are full of lactic acid right now. And the first time you get hit, that's the first hit. First time you get hit, now you're okay. It was tough hit hard. So here when you don't get hit, in practice, when you don't no training camp, and you get the first time you take a good hit, hey, it's tough. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, I think they did play their starters at least a series, here and there, spot. So we're our organization, we didn't. This is it was our tune-up game for all football starters. Now I think a lot of what we seen, because I knew when Mike Tomlin team was going to be prepared. There was no doubt in my mind we were going to find a way to pull it out.
Well, Joe, this looked a lot like what Pittsburgh did to Buffalo last year, week 1, when Pittsburgh went into Buffalo and upset them. I think they intercepted Josh Allen 3 times in that game, ended up winning. But in the end, the Steelers still watch the Bills in the playoffs, but they watched them play at Kansas City because of that week 1 loss. And I mean, if you look back to that was a big loss, because if Kansas City goes to Buffalo last year, I think there's a decent chance the Bengals at the Bills in that championship game.
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt. Get that chip back on our shoulder. You see Buffalo's pissed. Buffalo, they had that Super Bowl to look at. The AFC Championship and the Super Bowl to look at, and those guys came out, looked at those guys. They were well coached. They were very prepared. But I not, totally down. We made some mistakes. There was a lot more coaching. Even Joe's interceptions. How often do you get a guy who catches the ball, even if it hits his hand? 99% of the guys.
Only him and his brother can do that, and they did it against the Bengals, both of them. If you remember, T.J. Watt or J.J. Watt did that in the playoffs in Houston to Andy Dalton.
Yeah, so Ty, you look at there was not one point in the game that I felt we couldn't come back and Joe, it's an interception. Okay, defense battle, we stopped them. So and I do see the difference. I do see, it's not like, how in the past, the coaching was so awful. Maybe the effort was so point in time. A lot of times we just didn't have the talent, offensive line wise, corner wise, to compete. We do. You look at it. We have, Logan, man, the dude is playing on another level, man. I'm loving Logan, I still think it's bright for us, but we got to go down to Dallas. You can say, no must win. We got to go down and beat, period. Or we're going to put ourselves in bad situations, because we got some big boys lined up.
Yeah, and that's the worry here, Ty, because the rest of the schedule doesn't get any easier. It actually gets a lot harder. Now, you will have the Jets after this, but it's in New York. But then you play the Dolphins, you go to Baltimore, you play the Saints in New Orleans. You do get the Falcons, which is a little bit of a break. And then you've got the Browns, who are undefeated right now. You got the Panthers. So the big thing to me is the first half of the season, they got to really make hay, because then you get to the end and you've got You've got the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Bills, and the Ravens again in 4 of your last 6 games. So that's why I think this is so important. 0-2 doesn't kill you, but if you look at the history of the NFL, teams that start off 0-2 are not as apt to make the playoffs as teams that start off 1-1 or 2-0.
Yeah. I agree. This back after the bye week, man, it is brutal. So you have to come out and score some points, right? You got to get these wins. Even if they're close, you got to get them. And so I think they'll come down, they'll get the Cowboys, they'll come and hit the Jets, and then they'll get rolling here. Joe will feel comfortable. The pocket will start to gel. I think with communication and time, these linemen will
wait a second, Ty, do you really think so?
I think so, yeah.
Why? Because we've got 2 guys that are absolutely horrible on this offensive line, and are both on the same
scores. When you look at their PFF scores, they weren't that bad. They weren't bad compared to last year. And last year, they won the Super Bowl.
PFF scores don't mean
I know,
shit.
but we'll see. We'll see. I think Ted Karras is way better at center.
Oh, I think Karras and Kappa are great. I think Collins is an upgrade. Collins is a guard.
Yeah, but Collins hadn't practiced. He just barely started right before the Rams.
Well, he was practicing getting in fights with Rams he couldn't block.
So he
I mean, come on, Leo Collins is a guard. I mean, he was a Pro Bowl guard at the start of his career. He hasn't been as good since he was moved to tackle. I don't know why Bengal fans give Jonah Williams a pass all the time. Jonah Williams, to me, was worse than Cordell Volson.
Yeah.
Well, I like Volson. I like his attitude.
Why?
I think the coaches.
See, wait a second, Ty. We're not in high school, though. Everybody should have that attitude in the NFL. And I mean, I'm not trying
everybody
to be
does
down.
have that attitude in the NFL.
I know, because we just got rid of guys that
Harmon
didn't.
doesn't have that attitude.
What makes you think Cordell Volson has that attitude? What did he do in the game that made you so that he was a badass?
One of the best premier players in the NFL, first out. So
he's our starting left guard.
Rookie mistakes. You can't judge him. I don't think you can judge him in his career on the first.
But I can judge him off of what I saw at North Dakota State, and he's not an NFL lineman.
Well, I guess we'll give him time.
And I know this: the Bengals are the only team that was. I think he would have been a rookie free agent if the Bengals didn't draft him. Because when you watch him, especially in the scheme North Dakota State ran last year, he did not scream at me when I watched the film that he was an NFL starting guard. An NFL backup guard, maybe. But the issue with the Bengals is this. And I hate to beat a dead horse because I always do, but there's still only 6 full-time scouts with the Bengals. Everybody else in our division has 30. Year after year, all we do is miss on offensive line picks. I don't think it's that hard to look at Jamar Chase or Joe Burrow and think, oh, he's going to be a really good NFL player. If you look at this draft, Drew Sample was a bust. I'm sorry. Any tight end that is just a blocker that you pick in the second or third round is a bust because it's a waste of time to do that. I mean, and plus he misses a block that could have won you the game. When you look at guys like Billy Price, I mean, I could go on and on with guys that they drafted off the offensive line in the last 6 years. If they would have hit on a third of them, we would have a great offensive line right now. And the issue is right now, I think Karras, Kappa, I think Collins is a solid player. But I don't see the Jonah Williams love. And Cordell Volson, maybe he'll turn into being a stud. But with Frank Pollock coaching him, I don't believe that's going to happen because I have not seen anybody progress since Frank Pollock has been here.
You know, it's gonna be tough. It's an upgrade from last year. You know, those guys that came in, Pro Bowl guard. I think the thing with Collins, you know, he had it, man. So you know, I think he's going to get better throughout the season, and I think he's going to be a real solid addition. John Williams. On the other side of the ball, those dudes are not. This is a tough game. This is a physical game. You got to get physical. You know, I speak physically. You know, there's a lot in this game, man. You have to have technique. You're going to get beat here and there, but when you're getting beat repeatedly, physically, you know, your balance is off, and you know you're and they're coming in whether or not it's a rip. You know, your hand placement. And as far as offensive lineman, that's part of the game. You have to, you know, and when you're not tough and your feet are not good, you're just going. You want to think his head was one of the best interior guys. T.J. Watt is the best. Is not the best.
Oh yeah, ain't nobody blocking T.J. Watt. That's why I'm not really on Collins that bad because T.J. Watt, for my money, might be the best player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, T.J. Watt was T.J. Watt. I seen Collins battling, and I see was he getting beat physically by that dude? Yes, I'm not. That didn't bother me at all. Right. On the other side of the ball, it's a little different.
Yeah.
You know, it's better. I mode like I was all last year with Spain and all those beautiful last 2-3 years. You know, I didn't get sick to my stomach. You know, it is what it is. I think we're going to get better, but we have to win. We have to win the first half of the season. You know, we have to go 5-3, if not 6-2, because that stretch after the bye, there's no issue after the bye. There's not one weakness, weak team, and we're cut off. I think we're capable. I think we're talented and to compete with all those guys. We line up, we play. We don't have to. battle, with every team, we have to go in and we have to play the best, ever to, like I did, in the previous years. But we have to limit our mistakes. We got on that the other side to develop. And I think our defense, they better, continue to do some gassers and some wind sprints because but I think we can put it together, man. And that kind of games Sunday we have to win. We have to win those kind of games, especially that we're supposed to and capable of beating.
Hey, right now we got Countryman from Jamaica. Countryman Holmes said to go check out I Am Sure Sports. Me and Steve Risley have been on a few times with those guys. Make sure you check them out. Best sports talk show in Jamaica. I don't know how many there are in Jamaica, but it's the best one I've heard. But then again, it is the only one I've ever heard. But it still makes it the best. All right, so when we look at the Bengals Cowboys, and I agree with you, Joe, I think they'll be fine because defensively, I think this defense keeps them in games anyways. And I think you've got Joe Burrow. He's going to eventually play well. I think part of the issue with the offensive line with Joe is I think he does hold on to the ball a little bit longer than when most guys do because he's trying to make a play, which kind of worries me there just for his health in the NFL because let's face it, there's not too many teams in the NFL right now that have actually what you would call an above average offensive line.
I think what worries me is when he takes off and runs. You know what I mean? He had some nice, caught his own number, got some first downs, but he still isn't sliding. He's still
but on both of those, he was trying to get the first down. So I'm good with that.
Yeah.
You got to be a man sometimes, Ty. Damn.
This is your franchise quarterback. He goes down, the organization goes down. You got to keep that. And Brandon Allen's the backup. So
and once again, that's an organizational issue to Brandon Allen as the backup.
No, but you say at the end of the day, you got to keep the franchise going.
Yeah, but you know what? They had to get a bet. They should use the extra $70 the Bengals are charging people to park to go ahead and get a backup quarterback. Wouldn't you think, Ty?
I paid 40. It was crazy.
Yeah, 40's stupid too. I mean, what they ought to do is if they lose, they should stand there and hand you your money back as you leave.
We are a little spoiled, Mike, because when you go down, headed down this week, and there's not a parking spot under $100. I am Stadium. You're paying, 150, 200.
Hey, Joe, it don't make it right.
What's that? Yeah,
it don't make it right, Joe. It don't make it right. It's just like charging a man $11 for a beer when he's already drunk from the pregame tailgate.
Yeah, well, that's why you make sure when you go in the game, you don't need any beer because you need beer.
Yeah, but once you get drunk, you just keep drinking it, don't you? So you go ahead and pay the $11. So you paid $70 for parking. You bought 10 beers.
Beer to wash down the whiskey.
And then you get home and your wife finds out how much money you spent for parking and beer and tickets, and then you don't have a wife anymore. I guess that could be an advantage, though, for some guys.
Hey, I'll tell you what was encouraging down at the stadium is the first time in a while that there were way more Bengal fans than Steeler fans, and that hasn't been the case in the. So you didn't see as many. Joe can back this up. You didn't see as many towels flying around, and so that's encouraging that the Bengal fans are coming back. They're supporting. There was a lot in Tennessee. There was a lot in Kansas City, and there was a lot in at Sci-Fi in LA. So they're coming back. They're filling up, and I think they're going to. The Bengals are once they get going. And get the line gelling. I think the defense is already,
I'll say it again. The defense got him to the Super Bowl. I mean, the offense got the headlines, but the defense got him there.
Absolutely. Defense is going to get us back in the playoffs. We're going to defense.
And Logan Wilson's the guy they got to worry about re-signing more than anybody outside of Burrow.
With Logan Wilson, he played lights out, but I'll tell you somebody else that just is underrated, doesn't get the credit, and that's DJ Reader. DJ Reader shut down that run of the Steelers. Yeah. Literally, he was in the backfield, making these hits, closing up gaps. And I don't know if you saw that on TV, but man, he is a difference maker, and I'm glad he's a captain this year because he deserves it. I mean, he's on. He doesn't say a lot. He comes in and he just takes care of business. And I think that's why Ezekiel Elliott's going to have a problem this week.
I think Ezekiel Elliott's going to have a problem with Tony Pollard because Cooper Rush is their quarterback.
No, I'm just saying this line can sample. The other thing I didn't understand when you're talking about coaching decision, I didn't understand why Osai played. Joseph Osai only played 11 snaps, and a lot of them were in the inside. They weren't outside; they were inside. One time I seen him get pancaked. I was like, "Oh, I was expecting
because he shouldn't be inside."
Not an interior guy.
Yeah,
he's not an interior guy. He's a defense.
But they're playing him there, so I was surprised that they were playing him there.
Well, I've given up, and I've come to the realization, no matter what, this is what's going to be the coach for the foreseeable future. My only concern is whether you can win a Super Bowl with Zach Taylor, because I really don't think you can. I know we got close last year, but I also know from watching that game, as close a game as that was, there's a couple things that could have been done differently to win the game. And also, Horace Countryman, we back with Mike and Joe, and I don't know what happened to Steve Risley. That will be, if you guys want to see Steve Risley, which I know the ladies always love to see Steve Risley because he's got that gigantic head, we will be on at 8 o'clock, which is in less than a half hour on the NFL prediction show. So everybody in Jamaica, just wait till 8 o'clock if you want to see Steve Risley.
I love Jamaica. Been there a couple
That's what I said. I told Countryman and them they need to fly all of us down to Jamaica. We'll just do the show on the beach.
Oh, yeah, I love Jamaica.
Let's do a show in Jamaica, baby. I'm there. So,
Have you been to Jamaica, Ty?
Yes, twice. Got married there. Love it. Mom.
Okay. Yeah, man. You didn't put the dreads on, did you? You had the dreads on.
No, but my wife was the jerk chicken, boy. She's all about it.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, I want to remind everybody, betting.net finds the best promotions, offers, and bonus codes so you don't have to. Head over to their website now to take advantage of things like free bets and matching deposits. Check them out at betting.net. Sorry about that, Joe. Go ahead.
Well, I'm just talking, going back, the Steelers is just a bad taste because of the fact that it was the Steelers. If it were, I think I wouldn't be so down. But I seen some fight. I seen some fighting so far back because Joe made some bad decisions. But he drove us down there. We needed a touchdown, and he took us. And he brought us back into the game. I just think here that number 25 shit. You gotta find some plays for this kid. Even though Mixon had a good game, Samaji came in, did some things here and there. But I think we want, especially when T. Higgins went down. When T. Higgins went down, you brought in 80. He didn't run the right route.
I'd have brought Chris Evans in and put him in the slot. I think he causes major mismatches.
Yeah, you put him in the slot.
Hopefully we'll see him in Dallas. I think the other thing that I'm excited about is Cal Aldermitis, because how many people have a backup snapper on their practice squad? That could have been a real problem. And he was competing. He's already been with Huber. We're
lucky nobody snatched him up.
Yeah, so that's a good. I mean, that we're just hopefully picked right up where we left off. Yeah. So that's a plus.
All right, guys. So Bengals Cowboys this week. We will start. What? Bro, need more boxing stuff. The Boxing Weekly Show, our preview of Golovkin and Canelo will be tomorrow at noon o'clock Eastern time. If you want to check that out with myself and boxing writer, New York Times bestseller, John Responti. All right, go ahead, Ty.
What are we making predictions?
Make a prediction. Give me a winner.
I'm certainly taking the Bengals, and I think they get 30. So they have to at least get 30. I think
Joe and myself may have missed a little bit last week. But go ahead, Ty.
I was close. I think they're going to start off a lot faster than they did this week. I think the line will gel. I don't think they're going to face quite as the talent that the Steelers had on the defensive side of the ball. And I think on our defense is going to really put a lot of pressure on Mr. Rush. And he may, rely on, Elliott to get them going, but our defense is just going to be too tough for them. So I say 30-13.
All right, Joe.
Yeah, with this, I'm 99. I'm not gonna say 100. But I should win this game. We will win the game. Dallas is gonna come out there. They have to establish the run. Period. But you don't put anything past an opportunity to showcase himself. And Dak Prescott is going to be out 6 to 8 weeks. So this kid is going to come in, and this kid is going to try, play what happened to us in New York last year. Here, a kid that had zero experience came in, and so defense is going to have to stay solid. I think we're going to get better. Offensive line is going to play a lot better. Joe Mixon had a good game. I think we're going to keep it going. We got to get the tight ends involved in the game. If anybody heard that if whether or not T Higgins is playing,
we won't know that probably till like Friday or Saturday because they're going through concussion protocol. My guess is he won't play, but
yeah. So it's a situation. You're traveling, and it's different accommodations, so you don't have the comfort of home. We're coming back as bad as we played last week. We still scored 20 points. Pittsburgh defense, and I don't think Dallas is in the same ballpark. So I see us easily putting up 28 to 31 points, scoring a couple of touchdowns. So I'm saying 31 to 14. Cincinnati. I think we're not going against Mike Tomlin prepared. Tomlin is a great coach. He's a great motivator. He's always going to have his team. Dallas has that. I think that guy Jerry Jones he's kind of like how Al Davis. He's doing part coaching and owner, and he's in a way. The desperate team. I hear they're down signing Jason Peters is 4 years younger than me. Jason Peters is about 40.
Hey, he may play this week. He may play this week.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's on the practice squad, Joe. They're talking about bringing him up. That's even better. Let it happen. That's that fourth quarter, 40 years old. Yeah. That's not everybody's Whitworth, baby.
I wish we had him instead of what we got at tackle.
Well, you imagine if we did.
I'll take him over Jonah Williams.
And we were able. Well, if we had him and we were, Peters is going to hold his own. I don't know how well he's going to minutes, but nobody's going to run him over. Beat him around the corner. But what, keep a tight end to chip for him. But it is what it is, man. I still think we're going to come out victorious. We're going to get that swag at the end of the last year, and we're going to be able to put ourselves in a situation the next couple of weeks to be 2-1 on track, back with a little swag.
I'm right there with Joe. I'm right.
All right, I think this. I think the Bengals will struggle for a half because I still think the cobwebs aren't out. And I think they will slowly pull away as we get into the second half. I think something like 31-13 Bengals. I mean, I don't think Cooper Rush is terrible for a backup quarterback. And if you look at his stats, he hasn't been bad for his career, which he had one start last year. I mean, his numbers looked all right, but he got his ass beat. Ezekiel Elliott's there. I think it's going to take, especially, I don't expect T. Higgins to play. So I think it might be a little disjointed early in the game, but I think the Bengals pull away, and I think they win this one comfortably. And then we get to play Joe Flacco next week.
Joe Flacco, baby, in New York. Big Apple.
And as long as it ain't 2011, I'm all right with playing Joe Flacco. So, all right, guys, I want to thank everybody for listening. Make sure you check out the NFL Prediction Show, which we're going to have to get Joe and Ty on to predict some games at some point this year. But remember, your top sportsbook comparison site, betting.net, offers extensive reviews on the best sportsbooks out there. Make sure you check them out at betting.net. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at grilling_truth. It is a new Twitter that's been up for about a month because for some reason our Twitter account with 27,000 followers disappeared. Make sure you like our video on YouTube, like, subscribe. Make sure you click on the link in the description for the top sports book to bet on this week on the Bengals Cowboys game. But for now, for Ty Robbins, Joe Kelly, I'm Mike Goodpaster. You've been watching and listening to The Grilling Truth, where the legends